So this week's episode of 2 Minute Tuesday is actually comes from a client who called me, and they've been looking at property for believe it or not 5 years in Spain, and they were complaining that the property prices have increased quicker than they can afford to pay. And so we thought we'd take a few minutes just to have a look at the main reasons why property prices here in Spain are continuing to rise, and why it's such a strong market at the moment. So welcome to this week's episode. It's number 188 of 2 Minute Tuesday with Hondon Valley Homes. Okay, so one of the first reasons that prices are rising is because there is an increasing demand from North European buyers. Now, a lot of this follows things like, summer's not being particularly brilliant in the north of Europe, and people deciding that they would rather be down in the south of Europe. There are things regarding the quality of life that people decide maybe as they get a little bit older that quality of life is more important. And, when we're all young, we decide that we want to have a fashionable apartment in the middle of a city, but as we get a little bit older, having a nice villa with a swimming pool is probably a little bit more important to you. So there is a huge demand from buyers from the north of Europe who are looking to move to the south for an increased quality of life, and also because of the strength of the property market in the north of Europe, they can sell up there and buy something a lot larger than they could maybe afford back at home. So they can swap in the UK a 3-bed semi-detached house, and a average area in the UK would buy you a beautiful 3-bed detached villa with a private swimming pool, nice piece of land, stunning views. So that's one of the reasons that's fueling the property prices here in Spain. The next thing we've got is it really doesn't matter where you are in Spain, but tourism still plays a huge part in the economy. Whether you're on the coast, or you like we are here in Hondon, 30 minutes inland, or even hours inland, there's still a huge demand for people to come and visit. And so a lot of people are buying properties that they can then use for rental purposes, if they want to rent it out and have a weekly rental, or buying a property to rent out, on a yearly basis to clients. It's a lot more exciting having your money in a Spanish villa than sat in a bank account earning a few percentage points of in interest. So we have a lot of people from a financial point of view that are sort of looking to do so. We're also getting a lot of inquiries as the high-speed internet the proliferation of that is much more widespread. We're getting a huge volume of people who are looking to come and live and work in Spain. And if you're from the European Union and there are no restrictions on living and working here, unfortunately Brexit has made that more difficult for UK clients. But you can come and live in an area like the Hondon Valley. You can have 1,000 megabits per second internet upload and download, and you can do whatever work you could do anywhere in the world. You can come and do here in Hondon, and the internet won't be one of the limiting factors. And I think this year we've probably sold 10 properties to people who are living in Spain now, working in Spain, but working for companies in Belgium and Holland and places like that. So there is a huge demand for people who are looking to come and work here. And then the final thing that I've got that's sort of boosting property prices here is supply constraints. And what I mean by this is, since we've got two major factors, we've got Brexit and we've got COVID. So since Brexit, the common consensus was that there was going to be an exodus of Brits leaving Spain to go back to the UK. And I think, although that has been the case in certain areas and certain demographics, certainly here in Hondon, we found that an awful lot of people don't want to go back. And they look at what they have here and they think, do you know what? I've lived here for 10, 15 years. All my friends are here. I get on really well with the doctor, and I'm in with the hospital system and how well the hospital system works here. And then they see the bad publicity, they turn the news on at night and see what's going on, and they decide, you know what, I'd rather stay here. So a lot of the people that I sold properties to 10 years ago that you would think maybe now could be selling and maybe going back to the UK. They want to stay, and so we're not getting the normal churn of people that would go back. The other thing is that since COVID, a lot of people have sort of not been happy with the way that the governments have dealt with it in the north of Europe. And I'm not saying Spain was any better than any of the others. However, the environment, should there be another pandemic or another issue like that, that it's all very well having a sexy apartment in the middle of a city, but is that really where you want to be if something like this happens again? And, you know, we've got big sky, we've got fantastic mountains and views and lots of fresh air, and it wasn't a bad place to sit out the issues that we had a few years ago. And so an awful lot of people are selling from the north of Europe to come and live down here because they don't want to go through that sort of thing again. So there are lots of different factors that are affecting the prices. And after, you know, from selling property from 2006, we probably had, I don't know, a good 15, 17 years of it being purely a buyer's market. And then since COVID and Brexit, the market has done 180-degree spin, and now it's very much a seller's market. And properties that were very expensive in 2006 when I moved here, and then the properties crashed worldwide, it took a long time for them to sort of bounce back in Spain, and there was a gradual increase. There were the hiccups of Brexit and COVID, but since then the property prices have risen considerably, and Spain's housing sector is very, very positive at the moment. So they're the factors that currently are fueling the property market in this area. There are no doubt some hiccups along the road, and you know, it won't just be Spain that will be affected by those. But as this video is just about, you know, explaining why the property market is in a strong position here in the Costa Blanca, and you know, it's not me saying it because I'm an estate agent. Fly over, drive around the area, and just look and see the construction that's going on. Whether it's here in the Hundon Valley, we've got cranes up in the villages where they're building apartments and very expensive villas. If you go down on the coast, it's like it was back in the early 2000s. There are huge amounts of construction going on. I hope more responsible lending from the bank so that we don't get into the issues that we did in the past. But everything at the moment seems to be very positive. So that's it for this week's episode. Just really a video with my thoughts rather than cold hard statistics. But you can go online and read as many articles as you want, and some of them will be pro, some of them will be against. It's, you know, you take your choice as to where you get your information from. But this is just my two penneth with regards to the situation. Hope you found it a little bit interesting. If you've got any thoughts, comments, criticisms, please let me know. I'm interested to hear. And until the next episode of 2 Minute Tuesday, we'll look forward to seeing you then. So until then, have a great day. Enjoy. Hopefully you've got as beautiful a weather as we've got here at the moment, and we'll look forward to seeing you for the next episode. But until then, have a great day. Adios.